What is up, guys? My name is Choose the Game, and welcome back. Here today, I'm going to talk about Apex Season 8. It's been out for almost a week or so, I'd say, and I've got to play it a little bit, and I just wanted to let you guys know what my thoughts were, and to let you in on all the details and patch notes, let you know all that stuff. So, without further ado, first up, we're going to first be talking about the new legend, Fuse. Now, Fuse is the new legend in Apex Legends, a mercenary turned cage fighter who never turns down a good dust up. Now, his passive is Grenadier, which you can stack one extra grenade per inventory slot, which is huge in some cases, knowing that you can only stack one in the regular game. Next, we have the Tactical Knuckle Cluster. Launches a cluster bomb that continually expels airburst explosives on impact. This grenade knuckle cluster really has no drop off as well, I'd like to add, and it's very good for what it does. All right, and I'll get more into that in a second. And his ultimate, the Motherload. Motherload is a bombardment that circles the entire area you shoot it in with flames, so you can either trap people inside, use it to your advantage, ricochet it off things in order for it to just be a rain of fire, and use it as you please. Now, Fuse as a legend is mediocre. Fuse is kind of hard to play, and I see him taking more skill than most legends. I feel like he's up there with Wraith. He isn't the best character, but he still does his job and gets it done if you know how to play him, and you take the time to main him and use him to your advantage. Next up, we have the 30-30 repeater. This gun is a lever-action rifle and rechambers rounds between shots and uses a rhythm of fire in order to deal with the damage. Now, this gun, when you aim in, you can charge up your shots and it reloads one at a time. So this will make for interesting fights and resource management because it is a weapon of skill, I would say. Some pros say is one of the best guns on the market right now. Part of me begs to differ, but this gun is like the weapon version of Fuse. If you take the time, you take the skill, it's up there with the Wingman in terms of skill and damage-wise. The 30-30 repeater is there to combat the automatic kind of meta, you could say. Not many people use semi-auto guns in this game because they just don't do enough. We don't really know. It's just no one really knows how to use them necessarily, and we'll take the time to use them. But now that this gun is implemented, it's trying to balance out that kind of fight. So that's the 30-30 repeater. Next up, we got some minor details to the game, to your HUD counter and such. They added a damage counter right below your kills in order to see how much damage you did. They added colorblind mode for reviving and healing for those who need it. And lastly, we have the lore blurb and cannon skins, which essentially means that they have now split it so you can see the skins that they add just for fun, and the canon skins that are relevant to the story that is playing out during these seasons with each legend. Now we're going to be talking about the legends, buffs, and nerfs, so let's get started with that. First is Wraith. They nerfed her hitbox, made it bigger in order to counteract the win rate and the usage of her and her kit. They did the same thing with Pathfinder in Season 7. They go on to say, and that it worked perfectly in terms of Pathfinder being used still quite a bit, but is now essentially more harder to use or fight with because of the hitbox nerf. Wraith still remains as one of the top picked characters in this game, and they really want other people to try different legends that might not get used as much or are more slept on than others. Now, next up, we're going to be talking about Caustic, Loba, and Crypto, I believe. So Crypto, their move abilities stick arc stars to friendly drones. I remember back in mid-season 7, that was a big problem. so I'm glad they kind of removed that. Loba, loot inside unopened care packages are now visible with her passive ability, so you can see purple and legendary things inside of care packages now. Caustic, as soon as the team is down, Caustic's ability will go away and all of his gas, which I feel like is a good balance for him because, as much as I like killing people after I died with Caustic's gas, I still feel like it was really annoying to like get out of a fight, loot, but still being hit by the gas and say another third party shows up and you guys die. And lastly, Mirage. Mirage's decoys now have footsteps, which I felt like was the way to go, making Mirage seem a little bit better in terms of fighting because although his decoys are good in some cases, not all the time are they going to be Mirage is going to be the best choice, especially if you're in ranked and stuff like that. I'm just not sure how that'll go. Now, moving on to Horizon and Rampart. First up, we got Rampart, her Sheila machine gun that you can place down. Now, instead of 120-degree turning angles when you use Sheila, it's 180, so you can turn all the way back around. Which I feel like was the best move because Rampart, as they go on to say in the dev's note, is that she is not used very much, and it kind of is self-explanatory. So it's just, I felt like this was the way to go to make her more useful because, this game is all about momentum and stuff like that, so you can't really just be sitting and hoping to get kills. Wall health, when she placed it down, instead of it being 1 HP to be one shot, it's 45 right off spawn. So once you place it down, it'll be 45 HP, which I also felt like was good instead of now being able to counteract being shot at and using her abilities mid-fight. Horizon's Gravity Lift cooldown was increased from 21 seconds to 25 seconds. Horizon was pretty good. I feel like she was mediocre, so like I don't know if this buff or this nerf was necessary, but I still think it was a good idea because I felt like Horizon would be more played this season, especially now playing with Fuse and Fuse not being a one hit wonder. And now the 15-second cooldown timer now starts when the gravity lift disappears. So as soon as it disappears, the cooldown will start from 15 seconds. And now for my favorite legend, my main since day one of this game, since he came out, Octane. Octane has a jump pad remaster. So back a couple seasons ago, they gave him a double jump option because Octane's super jump, people didn't really see it as viable for the team play, and they didn't really know. It really didn't do much, honestly. So now what they did is to make it back when it was like the old super jump on the jump pad. The jump pad, if you hit it from a standing position, it'll launch you higher but not as far. So you have a higher arc with the double jump still, and then a crouch position, you're more kind of you'll lower, but you'll go farther. I feel like this was the way to go for sure for Octane. People keep saying that Octane is a legend that is solo, but I can guarantee you, if you know how to play Octane, you can play as a team. I play as a team, and I go on. I get like 10 kills per game, and I get a dub. Octane can be a team player, and he's not necessarily viable to the team, like say a Lifeline or a Raid, but Octane definitely gets the job done in terms of playing as a team if you decide to do that. Not very many Octane players do that, but that is the way he should be played. Now that we are done with the Legends, buffs, and nerfs, we're going to be moving on to the fully kitted rotation pool with attachments and hop-ups that were implemented or taken out. First up, we have the fully kitted rotation. So, back in Season 7, the loot pool was, or the fully kitted rotation was Wingman, Sentinel, Havoc, G7, and Alternator, which was a good setup. I thought it was pretty good. Whenever I got a Havoc, I always used it. Really, any gun I got there, I mostly used it. Besides the Wingman, sometimes it was debatable, or the G7 as well. But now, in Season 7, or 8, I believe, it is the R301, 30-30 repeater, Mozambique, Longbow DMR, and the Spitfire. I feel like this is the rotation to go to. any gun here you should take. Mozambique is debatable, I guess, but it does its job if you can hit your shots. The attachments, they remove the gold barrel from the loot pool. Um, that that can be. I mean, I don't know if that was a good idea necessarily, but with the fully kitted rotation, I feel like it kind of counteracts it. The hop-ups, the double tap hop-up for the G7 and the EVA 8 are now taken out of the game, and anvil rounds are added back in. Anvil rounds are for the R301 and the flatline, and you essentially turn your gun to a semi-automatic gun, in which you will sacrifice ammo and rate of fire for more damaging, more accurate gunshots. Anvil rounds are all right. I would say pick them up definitely when you see them and you have an R301 or a flatline, but don't necessarily rely on them too much. Always use your gun on full auto once you are close range, but when you're farther range, maybe consider using the anvil rounds. And now for the last part of these patch notes I will be going over in this video are the weapon buffs and nerfs. I will not be going over the bug fixes in this video today just because they don't seem that relevant for this video. First, we have the Volt. The Volt SMG, so the bullet damage was decreased from 16 to 15. The gun still slaps. I use it daily whenever I can find enough energy ammo. That nerf really didn't do anything. But, at least they tried. The alternator, bullet damage increased from 15 to 16. I felt like this was a very good thing for the alternator, because the alternator was like a mediocre gun. People used it, but it wasn't the best gun in the game. So now I feel like the alternator can now go up against more guns with this small increase into damage. The Spitfire bullet damage is increased from 18 to 19. The Spitfire was already broken, but I'll go over the rest of it to justify why I think this damage increase was good. The reload speed increased from 2.8 seconds to 3.2, and the NT reload speed increased from 3.33 seconds to 3.8 seconds. I felt like this damage increase was good because of the other nerfs, which was the reload speed and the empty reload speed. The empty reload speed was increased, making people want to spray out more ammo, but the reload speed was increased. Just normally, it's I feel like this was the way to go for the Spitfire. The Spitfire is still one of the best guns in the game, but I still feel like you can counteract it with, say, the alternator, for example, right? And lastly, the EVA 8 auto. Fire rate increased from 2.0 to 2.1 seconds. This was a good choice because out of the Mastiff and the Peacekeeper, everyone's going to take the Mastiff or the Peacekeeper over the EVA auto any day. I've really never seen anyone pick it up and keep the gun late game, just because the gun doesn't really do that much. So I feel like this will try and fight it. It still is not used very much, but it still will counteract the other shotguns and try and compete for later developing and buffing in nerfs. Alright guys, that is it for this video. I went over this Apex Season 8 Mayhem patch notes with the new legend, the new guns, the buffs and nerfs for almost everything. I didn't go over the bug fixes for this game, just because I felt like, they were mostly exploits and bug fixes, or of course they're bug fixes. It was mostly just small little things that helped the game further get rid of glitches and bugs that were implemented in the game by accident. Sorry I was so late on the upload, guys. This gameplay was taken probably a week or so ago. When I was playing mostly Fuse. My thoughts on Season 8, it's a good season. I definitely feel like, I don't think it's the best season. Fuse definitely needs a buff. I think his Knuckle Cluster needs to do more damage, and his Ring of Fire, I would say, don't really necessarily make it a Ring of Fire. I would say make it like a Pile of Fire, maybe. The Ring of Fire, there's just too many legends that can jump out of it, and it doesn't really do that much damage because it's on the edge. So say you like touch the edge and walk back out. I mean, it'll take off full blue armor, but it won't do any more than that. But, you know, I feel like all the buffs and nerfs were pretty good. Some of them didn't really help that much, but I feel like this was a good way to start the feedback for these new buffs and nerfs for this game. But anyways, if you guys would like to see more Apex Legends gameplay and how I do, I'm going grinding on ranked. Gonna try and get better with that. If you guys want to let me know, give you some tips on this game and stuff like that, make sure to put it down in the comments down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll try and be more consistent with my uploads and editing. It just takes a lot for me to take some time out of my day to put this stuff together for you guys, but I would be more than willing to if I know you guys are there for it. So, without further ado, guys, thank you for watching. Hit the like button and subscribe down below, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And always remember, choose the game, and this is the next level in our journey. Till next time, guys.
Often I'm upset that I